This is today's Health and Wellness Podcast for February. This is Brett.
And I'm Ashley, and we made it back for another podcast. Yes, by overwhelming response, we're back at it.
That's right, Ashley. And February's articles look really interesting in the Central Ohio Health and Wellness magazine, as well as updates on today's health webpage.
And we have some really cool podcast extras this time around as well. You got to talk with Aaron Greene from College Liftoff about how to reduce a little of the stress that's always tied to the college search with your student.
And our guy on the street, Mark Noose, got to talk with Kimberly Schwinn from AAA Travel about winter traveling tips, especially if you're flying. And we have the Trevors here from Elite One Fitness. They did such a great job kicking off our initial podcast with great New Year's resolutions tips. We have them back on the podcast as well.
We've got a lot to cover, so we better get started.
Hey, we're talking today with our friend Kimberly Schwinn from AAA Travel, and in the wintertime, you just have to expect delays because the weather's going to get in the way. So when you're flying, what can you look for?
Yeah, unfortunately, we've seen it all too often this winter. So you really can't predict a winter storm, especially when you're booking your flight so far out. You have no idea what the weather is going to be. But you really do need to be prepared. So often keep in mind if there's a winter storm in one part of the country, then that's going to affect the flights across the country. So even if it's not, in the location where you're flying out of or where your destination is, it could still impact your flights. So you really do need to monitor the weather, especially, even a few days ahead of time, and make sure that you're checking with your carrier before you leave for the airport, so that you know whether or not your flight is delayed or canceled. A lot of times you can actually set up, text or email alerts with the carrier so that you can be notified ahead of time. Make sure that you check into your flight 24 hours ahead of time. Often airlines are going to notify you again, once you check into your flight, then you'll get those notifications. So that's why it's really important to check in 24 hours ahead of time. You also want to make sure that you have things because you never know, even though your flight may be on time, when you leave for the airport, maybe something would happen and it's delayed. Maybe, the second leg of your flight is canceled or delayed. So you want to make sure that in your carry-on bag, you have the necessities that you might need if you are stuck in the airport for an extended period of time. So things like your medication, any important documents, maybe an extra change of clothes with you, some snacks, especially if you have kids, some activities, some things to do, anything that you might need with you if you were stranded, or even if your luggage is lost. So keep that in mind and keep that in your carry-on with you. And it's really actually beneficial to book your flights with a travel agent because they become your go-to person. So your flight is canceled and you don't know what to do. You don't want to wait in that huge long line at the airport. So how do I book another flight? Then you can call your travel agent and they can take care of that for you. So that gives you some peace of mind.
And now, of course, in the wintertime, everybody wants to go south where it's warm. But you can't drive south without going through the mountains, and you sometimes end up with some really bad weather going down through the mountains. Talk a little bit about preparation for a driving vacation in the winter.
Yeah, that's right. Most people are going to drive for their vacations. We see that all the time. And we do see a lot of people driving south to Florida. And as we get to spring break time, down to Myrtle Beach and Hilton Head. You really want to make sure that you plan your route ahead of time. So GPS is great. But it's always a good idea to have that backup map, that backup triptych. Yes, we still have triptychs. And just to make sure that you have, alternative routes in case, maybe there's a snowstorm, maybe the road is closed. So something that you might run into along the way. Also, you should really know where there are construction delays. Again, monitor the weather, know what the weather is going to be like. Maybe you leave a day ahead of time or a day later, to try to avoid a big snowstorm in the mountains. Again, it's a really good idea to have that triptych travel planner with you. You can also do it on your phone now. We have the AAA mobile app, so that's free for Android and iPhone devices, and it also shows the gas prices, the hotels and restaurants along your route. It can reroute you. But yeah, really when it comes to road travel, just a good idea to plan ahead, plan your route, know where you're going to run into delays, and to monitor the weather.
And where can we get more information?
You can always go to AAA.com. That's AAA.com. And, certainly you can find all of that information there. For the more information on the mobile app, it's AAA.com/mobile. You can find more information there.
Some winter travel tips from Kimberly Schwinn from AAA. Thanks so much.
And thank you.
So glad to have the Trevors from Elite One Fitness back with us on the podcast. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. We're happy to be here.
Hey, what's up, Ashley? How you doing today?
Great.
Good. It's great to see you guys. Great to have everybody back here listening again. The second podcast here for February. January, we got some positive feedback from that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of clients coming to us and asking questions about their New Year's resolution. Seems like everybody's on track. If you haven't had a chance to listen, check out the podcast hosted on the Blitz or Jack FM and catch up, and you can get started here on the February then after that. So other than that, we're going to talk today a little bit about fitness on the go. Trevor, what's the one thing that you hear most as to why people can't work out, whether it be at the gym or at their house? What's the number one excuse you hear?
It's always time.
Always time.
Always time.
I don't have enough time, do I?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what you hear more than anything else.
Right.
It's always time.
And the thing with that is honestly, if it's a priority in your life, you'll make time for it, no matter what it is. Whether it's fitness, whether it's your job, whether it's your family, whether it's loved ones, friends, if it's a priority, you will make time for it. So if getting in the best shape of your life is a priority for you, reaching your New Year's fitness goals, reaching your 2017 fitness goals, whatever it is, if it's a priority, you're going to make time for it, whether it's early in the morning, late at night, in between commercials for your favorite TV show. You're going to make time for it. So here we're going to give you guys some nice examples to go ahead and use at home. If you're on the road, maybe some of you travel for work, you're at the hotel cooped up, whether it be in the room or the little gym that they supply for you there. So anything where you're on the go and you and time is of the essence. So we're going to give you some examples here. Trevor, give us a few breakdown of maybe a handful of cardio exercises that they can do at their house.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. What we're going to do here is we're going to talk through a couple exercises we can do, and then ways we can timely get that done in a timely fashion. That way.
Okay.
That way, everything's in an organized way. Just talking through a couple exercises we can do is, as far as cardio goes, running in place is a huge one. That's really exertion of the body, and you don't have to move anywhere. You don't need a lot of space to do that, Followed by that would be burpees. Burpees is a great one to do. We, Ashley knows from experience, we love having our clients do a lot of burpees.
Yes,
so,
they do.
Ashley, do you love the burpees?
I do.
I'm hearing
Better
she's a
than the
little.
sled.
I'm hearing she's a little sore.
Yeah, a little bit sore today.
Yeah.
But that's okay. The burpees love you. They burn a lot of calories, so that's always a good exercise.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Backing up with that running in
Right.
place, Trevor. The running in place. What do you suggest? The knees a little bit higher, a little bit lower for optimal cardio and calorie burn.
When we talk about cardio, we want more of a max exertion.
Yeah.
So the more movement we can do, the more effort we're gonna give.
Okay.
So I prefer to get the knees up high. High knees, and really get those arms pumping.
Perfect. Okay, so what else besides running in place with high knees, burpees?
Mountain climbers is a huge one. I love doing mountain climbers.
Oh yes,
those are always exciting. Ashley can attest for that one as well.
A lot of mountain climbers.
Yeah, we do. One that's kind of interesting is an upper body cardio. We have punches.
Yeah.
They're doing punches in place. Cool thing with that is if you have just little weights, just tiny 3-pound weights, 2.5-pound weights, you can weigh your hands down a little bit, and that can really wear you out.
Who are you punching?
Preferably Trevor Scott.
No, you're not punching anybody. You're air punching. So just wanted to clarify that. Though with punches, we're doing weightless punches. I will volunteer myself if you guys need a little stress relief as well. But other than that, if you just you can just punch basically the air like you're boxing an imaginary person or a heavy bag in front of you. It is taxing on the scapula and the upper back, and get you winded pretty good after a little while. So
yeah. Another couple things we can do are line jumps and skiers. Line jumps are just moving back to forward, quick jumps, or side to side, like we're jumping over a 5-yard line on the football field. It's just something easy to think about. Skiers, you're just hopping back and forth, side to side, like you're skiing down the Alps, nice and smooth. So those are just a couple things we can go over.
You know about skiing down the Alps?
I know all about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Professional. So, yeah.
I know about skiing down the bunny hill. That's about it.
Yes, same here.
I know about falling down the bunny hill. Does that count?
That's right. I'll leave skiing to the other. I'll stay in the gym. Yeah, right. Give me some shoes. Okay, so if we wanted to build some muscle, so there's some nice cardio examples. If we want to build some muscle, Trevor, give me some exercises we can do at home to build a little bit of muscle.
Yeah, so for muscle building, number one that I can think of on the go, of course, push-ups. Everyone's got push-ups right there, easy to do. As we do those, a couple things is, let's talk about our base on push-ups. Make sure that we have our arms right at our shoulder length or right below, right in that chest range. A lot of times what people do is they put their hands up around their head and they're doing more presses into that shoulder range, and that's actually going to be a little tougher on the joints. So make sure when you're doing push-ups, you push from the chest. That's priority number one there.
Definitely. Good point.
And we can
with the push-ups, do you have to literally go down, touch your nose? I mean, any length down, is that going to be okay as long as you're doing them?
Yeah, absolutely. What we prefer to do is we like to modify our push-ups.
Okay.
So we're still getting the full range of motion, but we can modify them. So it's very easy to drop to the knees and do push-ups from the knees. That way we're still getting the full range of motion. Yeah. Or we can do push-ups from the knees and kind of pop our hips back a little bit, and that even takes even more weight off. So
Exactly, yeah. And kind of what you were talking about, if we have to start and if we can't get the full range of motion, because we are weakest when our chest is or our muscles are fully stretched, so like at the bottom of the push-up, that's where we're weakest. If we have to work our way to that, that's perfectly fine. We can slowly get lower and lower as we go, but maybe the first couple times, maybe we're not going quite as low, but that's okay. As long as we start somewhere, that's the biggest factor there. So
good.
What else you got for us, Trev? Push-ups.
Push-ups. That's our push-ups. Now let's go to lower body. We've got squats. Coming out. Now, as we talk about push-ups and squats, if you're someone that's a little bit stronger, you can put a book bag on with some weight. That would really help you kind of weigh yourself down and make it a little more of a challenge for you. So that's always something to think about there too. If you want to do some workload, but don't really know how to weigh yourself down. So
make sure your kids are bringing all their books home from school.
Right.
So
absolutely. Yeah.
They can get a
And
heavier
they
book
do.
bag.
The book bags are so heavy,
Oh my
they
gosh.
can barely carry them.
Right?
They really are.
It could be 30 pounds easily.
Yeah.
History
I don't know
books,
how
calculus
they
books. Oh my
carry 'em.
gosh.
No
I
wonder
know.
Isabella's so strong.
I know.
Unbelievable.
So the book bags, that's a great resource, guys. Make sure you guys utilize that if you want a little added resistance. What else you got for us, Trev?
Lunges. Now, one thing about lunges is, as we talk a reform of some of these things, and then we'll kind of talk about how we can implement them. Lunges, make sure you're stepping out far enough and sinking the hips back. A lot of times, people drive that knee over top of that toe. We want to try to avoid that at all costs. We do not want that knee to go over the toe.
Yeah, that's the one thing you guys really pay attention to. He said, if that knee goes out over top of your toe, that means you're not stepping out far enough. You're going to put a lot of pressure on your joints. You want to step out long so that knee definitely does not go over the toe. So go ahead. What else you got for us?
Another big one I like to do would be inchworms. I think inchworms is a great one. Basically, what you do on inchworms is you go down like you're going to touch your toes, and you crawl your hands all the way out to a push-up position, and you crawl your hands all the way back.
Right.
It's a great total body, more upper body workout there for you, and I think it's an awesome one to do, especially when you circuit this into some other things that we're talking about here today.
So kind of going with what you said, if there's anything if you're hearing that you guys don't understand or don't know what we're talking about, hit us up on our Elite One Fitness page, message us, whatever it happens to be, and we will make sure we get back to you and get you either a visual with us doing it, a video, or a great explanation to make sure you guys understand exactly what we're talking about. So what else you got for us, Trev?
The one that's going to be really cool and kind of outside the box here is a suspension trainer. We can do a makeshift one, or we can buy like a TRX strap or anything like that. So like for a makeshift one, what you can do is you can get like a towel and put it in the door, shut the door, and it'll work as a TRX type of band, and that way you can hold on to it and do curls from it.
That's
you can do like
pretty cool.
all kinds of different squats. Yeah,
that's a great thing for like hotel or home workouts.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
You can throw 2 towels into the door, jam them in. 2 bath towels, and they're a lot longer, so you can do curls from that. You can do triceps from that. You can do chest, back. There's plethora. See my 50-cent word there?
I like that.
Yeah, there's a plethora of exercises you guys can. My 6th grade teacher would be proud.
That's funny. Just make sure those towels are in there nice and tight.
I was going to say, I can
make
see
sure
that
they're
go
tight.
flying
Yes,
backwards.
right. Okay, so if I wanted to, did you have any way of increasing like resistance for like some other things that we could do? Maybe like say we don't have weights in our house. Maybe could we use that you talked about a book bag earlier? Could we use a book bag for like curls or some like tricep extensions or something like that?
Absolutely, 100%. You can really think outside the box for things you can use. Anything with weight on it has resistance to the muscle. So as long as we're loading up that muscle group with something that is going to fire that and engage those muscle groups, anything like that would work.
Except for a gallon of milk, that'll spoil.
Right, yeah.
Keep that in the fridge.
Yeah, you don't want to use a gallon of milk. That would be good. But it's funny you do say a gallon of milk because you can use like a gallon jug of water or anything like that, and that would really weigh down
just give you a little
your
resistance.
workload there. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
How about some core stuff? A lot of people out there, they want to hit their core, they want to hit their abs, and when they think of core, they think of just abs, but they also need to think about their lower back as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give us some things that we can do at home for that.
Well, the first thing I think of when you talk about core is the main core exercise, and I say main because I think it hits the most muscle groups there, would be planks. Plank holds are huge. I mean, planks really work on that core and also work on that lower back too. We talk about the core. We got to realize that lower back, that erector spinae, or your posterior chain there, is really engaged when we do planks.
You use such fancy words.
Yeah, I do it to confuse you, Trevor.
That's good.
Yeah, but no, I mean a big thing with that is as we talk about posterior chain, we're looking at our lower back down all the way to our glutes. In our hip region there, and that's really a weak area for a lot of us. So when we do things like planks, Supermans, which we're going to talk about next, it really helps strengthen that up, and it helps with just your livelihood and living a more healthy lifestyle.
Rattle off a few more for us.
Crunches, V-ups, knees to chest, leg lifts, and flutter kicks.
Yeah.
Does that count for rattling off?
You rattled them off, I tell you what. So crunches, V-ups, Supermans, knees to chest. The Supermans are kind of a lower back exercise. We spend a lot of time working on our abs, but we don't spend enough time with our lower backs. And that's why you see 90-95% of Americans have lower back pain all the time, because we're just like a chain. We're going to break at our weakest point, and our weakest point is always our lower back. It supports a lot of our weight, and it's not strong enough to do so because we don't exercise it like we should. So Supermans are just kind of laying flat down on your belly and lifting your arms and your legs at the same time. We can give you a good example of that if you come to our Facebook page, Instagram page, whatever it happens to be. Email us, and we'll make sure we clarify if you guys don't understand any of these exercises. So.
Yeah, and just to touch base on Supermans and things like that again, especially a lot of people have spinal issues, like me personally with scoliosis, or some people with sciatica issues or herniated discs. Big thing with doing this to strengthen that lower back, it's really going to help with those issues like that. Like you said, you're going to break your weakest chain. So when you're able to do things to help strengthen it up, it really helps
help protect it.
Help protect yourself and keep your livelihood moving in the right direction. So,
Ashley, what's your favorite ab exercise that we've done? What do you like to do? Any of those that we named, or?
I probably like what'd you call the straps?
With the TRX?
I like those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you did those the other day, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, they're pretty tough.
But I like ab exercises.
Yeah, definitely. What about V-ups? Those are tough.
Those are tough.
Those are tough. Those are challenging, and they kind of get you winded a little bit, huh?
They do.
Yep.
They do.
Yeah,
those are fun.
I like all of those, actually.
Definitely.
And that's one thing we can talk about too is, it's one thing that we've worked on with you, Ash, is crunching correctly, really working on how we target our abdominals. One thing we do is we like to suck that belly button back, really pull that belly button back, and make sure we're bringing our sternum all the way down to our belly button to really contract those abs the right way. So that's a big one too when you think about doing crunches or anything like that.
Yeah. You can feel it. When you do it right and you touch, like you say, feel where you're supposed to feel it.
Yeah, there's a huge difference.
Feel it when you're doing it correctly.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you can see the results kind of quickly on that too.
Yeah.
I notice with planks, especially after 2 or 3 days, you're feeling it.
Yeah.
You really do. All of a sudden, you're almost standing up straighter, and you're feeling that tightening up as you're walking around going, okay, this is doing something.
You make a great point, Brett. You're talking about you feel like you're sitting up straight, your posture. Huge in correcting your posture. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough. That was a really good point you made there, and hopefully people honed in on it. Kind of last thing here on the go. So we've kind of given you guys some exercises to do on the go, and we'll just give you a quick little example of a nice little workout that you guys can take with you and try it at home, and let us know how it went. And you guys can always modify it if you need some more. Let us know. So real quick, we're going to do something called an AMRAP. We're going to do as many rounds as possible on this workout, and it's kind of going to go as far as how much time you have allotted. So if you have 15 minutes, we can do a 15-minute AMRAP. If you have 30 minutes and you want to make it tougher, we can do a 30-minute AMRAP. So we can do as many, as long as you want. So basically, you're going to do as many rounds of these as you can in the time that you have. So once you get done with it, you just start back again and start round 2. Keep track of how many rounds you have. Try the same workout a week later or a month later and see what kind of progress you've done. So the workout would be something like this. We want to do 50 run in place, so we're going to have high knees. We're going to do 50 of them, then we're going to drop down and do 50 mountain climbers. From there, the mountain climbers, we're already in the push-up position, so we're going to go into 10 push-ups. Then we're going to stand up, and we're going to do 10 squats. The squats, we're going to put a little twist on it here, so when you come up from the squat, you're going to jump up in the air, land softly, and then go into your second squat, right into it, jump up in the air, land softly right into your next squat. Those are squat jumps. It's going to give you a little bit more cardio burn with those.
Big emphasis there is land softly.
Land softly.
Really, really protect those knees, guys.
Sure. Yes, land softly. And then from the squat jumps, we're going to go into 25 crunches. And once we're done with that, we're going to do 25 leg lifts. And once we're done with all those, we go into round 2. And we see how many rounds we can get in the 15, 20, 30 minutes allotted that we have. Mm-hmm. So we'll post that on our Facebook page, Instagram page, and we'll let you guys know what the workout is. And if you guys have any more questions, you want some additional workouts for on the go, quick, I need to get a workout in, let us know and we'll get those to you. Another thing that we can emphasize is even if you don't have a full 15 minutes in a row, grab a workout, an exercise or two, and every commercial break of your favorite TV show, sit down, do your ab exercises. When the commercials are over, back in to watching your TV show. That's your rest time. Next commercial break hits, you're going to go into maybe your next exercise. And right there, you can do a whole workout and watch your TV show and feel like you wasted no time whatsoever.
Oh yeah, we can always find the time to get it done.
Exactly. If it's a priority, you will make time for it. Right?
You know
Correct.
it.
So yeah, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to let us know.
Cool. Great. Thank you so much. That was great information.
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it, Ash.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed that.
We got plenty of that. We got a plethora of information. Yeah.
I haven't thought of that word in a long time.
You're welcome.
You guys brought some extra stuff along, I'm hearing. Maybe a little bit of a game to play?
Yeah. So
Let's jump
we're going
into
to do like
this.
a little catchphrase, a little $10,000 pyramid twist, I guess you would kind of call it. So we're going to divide into teams here. We're going to have a little competition amongst the trainers. Brett, you and Trevor are going to be on a team. I'm going to give you my 2 categories. Ashley and I are going to be on a team, and you're going to give us your categories that you made up, okay? We're going to see who can kind of guess the most correct answers of what we're describing, and the losing trainer has to do 20 push-ups?
Double or nothing, 40 push-ups.
Oh, my gosh. He's feeling froggy today, guys.
So glad I'm not in the middle of it.
Oh,
You better get ready.
All right.
Get ready for this one.
Yeah.
I forgot how tough you are, Trevor.
Which Trevor?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to let's just go like this. How about,
Are we giving you all the clues, or are you giving
so
us?
I'm giving
I
this
gotta
to you
rip
too.
this, don't I?
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and rip
All right.
that in half, guards.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So what's going to happen here, we're going to give them 45 seconds to answer as many questions as they can. And the first topic that we're going to talk about is Trevor Garber is going to ask Brett the top 10 foods in vitamin A. Or that have the most vitamin A in them, I guess.
Top 10
okay?
foods that have the most.
So when you're listening to these answers, everybody, realize that all these answers are going to be high in vitamin A. So some of you may think, well, what can vitamin A do for me? What are some of the benefits? Some of the benefits of vitamin A would be an immune system boost. Okay, so thanks, Garb.
Which we all need right now.
Yeah. Oh my
With
goodness.
the
Don't we ever? So an immune system boost really helps the lymph system. Another healthy additive from vitamin A is helps your bone structure, helps your eyes. It really helps like you being able to adjust to light and seeing at nighttime. It helps your skin. It helps your skin stay moist, retain moisture. It helps it be softer. Helps also with, for the same reasons, anti-aging principles. It helps also prevent acne. So that's another little help right there. Yeah.
There you go.
All the above.
Lastly, vitamin A, it can help lower your cholesterol as well. So there's just a few little benefits there. And as you're listening to these answers, maybe you think, okay, I need to implement some more of this in my diet, help my vitamin A out. We're going to put 45 seconds on the clock here. All right, Trevor, Brett, you guys ready?
I guess.
You guys ready to do this?
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Vitamin
All right.
Hey, don't get too nervous.
I'm in the zone, vitamin A.
I see it.
Vitamin A, vitamin A.
I see you
So
sweating.
I'm asking questions first?
So you're describing those right there
Yes.
to him.
All right.
And he's going to try to answer as many as he can. I'll tell you when the
right.
time's up.
Okay.
All right. And if you never need to pass, if you can't describe it, just go ahead and pass. Go on to the next one. Ready, set, and go.
All right, this is a big vegetable for Irish, but it's sweet.
Potatoes.
But what kind?
Sweet potato.
There we go.
Right.
Okay. Rabbits eat these.
Carrots.
Boom.
Okay. Oh, man, this one's tough. All right. I'm going to skip ahead. This is a fish that you can get out of a can.
Tuna.
Tuna. There we go. This is a very sweet fruit, but it's not an orange. It's more tropical.
Pineapple.
Not
No?
quite. Not
No.
quite. It's orange.
Orange. So an orange?
It's orange colored, but not an
Orange-colored.
orange.
Mandarin orange. No.
Ooh, close.
I'm stuck in the orange mode.
He's got 10 seconds.
Oh man. This is the number one ingredient of a salad. Let's skip ahead. Number one ingredient of a salad.
Lettuce.
There we go.
Boom. We'll give it to him. Time's up. That's
Cool.
4 points. Very
All
nice
right,
job.
Brett.
All right.
There we go.
What was
Nice
the
job.
orange? What did I miss on the
Mango.
mango?
Mangoes.
Okay.
Mangoes are orange.
I was trying to find a way to
Yeah.
say it without really
Yeah.
saying
That's good.
mango.
That's good. That's okay. It's okay.
So, guys, we'll kind of run down those. Nice job, by the way, Brett.
Yeah.
By the way, Trevor Scott completely rigged this game. I will say that right now. This is unfair. Completely unfair.
I don't know about that. I don't
We'll
even-
see. Look,
Oh,
we'll see.
okay. By the way, the ones that were not mentioned and that were, so we have sweet potato at number one at 769% of your daily value. So sweet potatoes are high. And this is per cup, guys. So it's all based on per cup. Carrots were number two, 500 and some percent. Squash was number three. Squash, you could have been like, I don't know, maybe squashing a bug. Actually, that would have been tough.
That is a tough one.
They'd all be tough.
Yeah.
You did it on purpose.
Again,
Kale.
rigged.
Kale is number four. Dried apricots is number five. We have cantaloupe. I call muskmelon.
Cantaloupe and kale was what you had me try to describe. Are you serious?
They're high.
Oh man.
Vitamin A.
I love both of those.
Oh man, I love muskmelon. It's the best. All right. Sweet red pepper is number seven. Just some romaine lettuce is number 8. Tuna, surprisingly, made the list at number 9. So tuna, being kind of high in vitamin A, which is kind of nice because it's a protein source there.
And we know we love our protein.
Yes. And then mango, number 10. That's the orange fruit that Trevor was talking about. So.
The orange fruit that's not orange.
All right. So, Ashley, I will describe to you, and then
So how many was that?
you got 4.
That's
You
a tally.
got 4.
It looks like I'm doing push-ups here in a little bit. We'll find out.
That's what you're going to ask.
Okay,
him.
gotcha. Okay,
So-
I gotcha.
Is that it?
You can keep track of how many we get right.
Okay.
Keep track of our time right there. T. Garby,
How much time's on?
45 seconds.
All right.
I gave you guys 46. I cheated.
So I'm guessing.
Nope. You're reading. Yeah, you're guessing. You're
I'm
guessing.
guessing.
Where is
Wait,
mine?
is
There
that
it is.
it?
Okay.
Okay.
So we're doing 10 foods that are high in GI. Now, GI is a glycemic index. Okay, so these are carbohydrates that basically determines how fast they get absorbed into the bloodstream and how fast they're digested. So basically, we want the lower glycemic index carbohydrates that digest very slow. So the lower the number, the slower it digests. The higher the number, the more rapid it digests, and it spikes our insulin, and that's all the nasty things that we have. So I'm asking Ashley right now 10 foods that are high in the glycemic index, meaning they digest very rapidly and spike the insulin. So, all right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Ready.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
All right, Ashley, this is the number one ingredient to make things sweet.
Sugar.
Boom. Okay, this is something bees make.
Honey.
Okay. This is something that it gets planted underground and you pull them up almost like They're round potatoes. Boom. Okay. So this is what you make sandwiches out of.
Bread.
Bread. Boom. Okay. So how about you can't read this at all.
Did I write it by hand?
You eat this in the morning for breakfast.
Cereal.
And
oatmeal.
Yes, no, you're right. But it's it kind of expands. If something expands, it gets bigger. How about
and time?
Okay.
Ooh. What is
already
it said puffed cereal.
Oh, puffed cereal.
What's
Okay.
I think we count cereal.
We got rice cakes.
Let's poll the audience. Hold on, real quick. I'm asking them. And
Yes.
yes. Okay, they counted.
The texts are in.
Yes, the texts are in.
We'll count it. We'll count it.
We're good. We're good. We're good.
Notice he counted that just because it gives him one more vote than what we had.
Most definitely.
So the tie is over. Like I said,
and we're one step
rigged.
closer to not doing 40 push-ups. All right, guys. So those were all foods high in glycemic index, meaning they digest very quickly, and so we don't want to necessarily eat those as our carb sources. They better chance they get stored as fat, and we just can't use so much. We can only use so much energy at one time, if that makes sense.
Right. Now, when would you take in high GI carbs?
Like, so a high GI carb, if you're trying to bulk up, if you're trying to really gain muscle mass and put on some good size as maybe a bodybuilder or a power lifter, you're going to want to do that right after the workout. Or even if you're doing it for performance, like if you are a power lifter or a sports athlete, intro workout, during workout, or right before will help as well with some of the performance side of things. So
yeah, that's a big one I know personally. I
Yeah.
like to do is just eat a rice cake just because it's only 9 grams of carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Quick acting carbohydrates right in the middle of my workout
Yeah,
to make sure
okay.
I can really blast through. So
there we go. So we have some high glycemic index carbs that we kind of want to stay away from if we're trying to lose fat. If we're trying to get bigger and bulk up, we want to intake as many of those as we can. So, all right. So we're going to go back to you guys. Round 2. What's the score right now?
it is 5-4.
5-4.
Okay, this is going to be
That's cereal.
This next round's going to be
Thanks, guys, for
tough.
It's a game breaker
This is
here.
going to be tough.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
be
of
tough.
course it is.
All right. I'll give you a little extra time on this one. Okay. So, I'll give you a little extra time just because it is kind of involved.
Yeah.
You can. How about I'll give you the thing. You can say where it's from.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Let's
you
go.
can say
Let's go
where it's
that.
from.
That might be better because of yeah.
So we're going to talk about just 10 foods in the fast food realm that are
Ooh.
really bad for you. Okay, so and we can give some calories counts later if you guys want freaked out. So
Trying not to get hungry while we're talking about this.
Yeah, really. Now, looking at this list, yeah, exactly.
for some kale.
Kale, yeah. Don't get hungry for
Yeah.
kale.
Oh my gosh.
All right,
Okay.
gladiators ready? Contestants ready?
All right.
Go.
All right. Quiznos. It's a sub.
Philly's cheesesteak.
My accent. It's a sub.
Italian?
Yeah, there you go. It's not
Italian.
bad, I know. that.
It's all right, we're working on it.
McDonald's, it's their shake.
Big Mac.
But it's a
McFlurry.
But it's a flavored
Chocolate,
shake.
strawberry.
There you go, chocolate. We're going to Starbucks now, and again,
Frappuccino.
it's a nut chocolate. Though.
Nutmeg, chocolate, hazelnut, chocolate.
There you go. We're going now for some Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Deep fried chicken, popcorn chicken.
You put it in
KFC Famous Bowl.
There it
There
is.
you go. Yeah,
Got it.
Going to Wendy's.
Baconator.
It has
He knows a lot about the
cheeseburger, but it has 3 levels.
Triple cheeseburger.
We'll do that. Burger King.
Time. Good job.
No, it's on there. It's on there.
You didn't get it in time.
Oh, man.
Oh my
You are
gosh.
very versed in your fast food.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What?
That makes me
my
concerned as to
gosh.
why he knows fast food so well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the top of the list was Quiznos Italian sub. That was a horrible accent. I apologize.
That was really
I'm
good.
thinking I didn't know where to go with it. But yeah, talk about
I
it.
had one syllable to figure it out.
I know. Well, since we're allowed to say where they're from, it helped a lot. Yeah. But yeah, over 1,300 calories, 68 grams of fat. Holy cow.
Can you imagine that? An Italian sub? It's probably one of the most popular subs, I would imagine.
Yeah.
1,300 calories for one sub.
Well, you
Yeah.
gotta realize how much fat is on salami, pepperoni
Right.
meat. I mean, it's
That's-
loaded with fat, and then you stick that Italian dressing on, and it's just a creation for disaster.
Yeah.
It's a fat bomb.
McDonald's chocolate shake, the large, which who isn't going to get a large?
Yeah, right.
Who isn't going to get the
Small.
1,160 calories, 27 grams of fat.
By the way, wasn't that was kind of one that kind of threw me for a loop? Like, man,
Yeah.
a milkshake has almost 1,200 calories in
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Are you kidding
Empty
me?
calories, all empty.
Yeah.
Nothing good
Yeah.
there.
Right.
High GI calories. We just talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
With fat.
Yeah,
Not
Starbucks.
a good combo.
Now, I don't know much that's, nothing against Starbucks, but is there anything good at Starbucks for you? You know what I mean?
As long as you don't get the creamer, the sugar,
Right.
the
Just straight off coffee.
Yeah.
But the hazelnut hot chocolate, 600 calories.
Yeah.
The KFC chicken bowl, again, you're not going there for health reasons. That's why they
They're good.
changed it to KFC, not Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah.
The chicken bowl, 700 calories. The Wendy's triple cheeseburger, over 1,000 calories, 66 grams of fat.
More than the Baconator there, Trev?
I don't know
It's
if they're
not on
necessarily
that
there.
list, but it's
Baconator,
got to be
I'm telling
close.
you what, I don't know if you guys ever seen a picture of the Baconator or happen to get a Baconator
Yeah.
for a cheap meal, but it's like 5 patties and like 20 pieces of bacon.
I'm sure that would have made the top 10. That's not
It's
necessarily
nuts.
the top 10.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Okay, well, I'm disappointed in you then. That Baconator would have been up there. Again, game's rigged.
Right. Burger King's Tender Crisp chicken sandwich. Again, anything's going to be deep fried chicken.
Yeah.
I know it's delicious, but geez. 800 calories, 46 grams of fat. We didn't get to these three, though. Burger King's Triple Whopper, 1,200
Triple Whopper.
Triple Whopper.
Look out.
Yeah, 1,200 calories, 80 grams of fat.
1,200 calories. I mean, that's almost an entire day's
That's
worth of calories.
Once you're over 1,000, you're close to it, aren't you?
You're-
Yeah, exactly. KFC chicken pot pie, 789 calories,
I really
45
love
grams of
that.
fat. But pot pie, though,
It's
I
good.
know
It
I
is
know.
good. I'm not,
I know. And then Burger King.
I've tried it. I've tried it.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Another triple Whopper. There must be something missing on that one, but it's over 1,200 calories. So anything triple.
Anything
Yeah.
Exactly.
Triple calories, triple Whopper.
Exactly. I'll let
So
you guys get
you guys
to
have
it.
9, by the way. It's 9 to 5. So we got to get 4 to tie.
All right.
We got to get 5 for the win. You smell that, Ashley?
Yes, I definitely.
I smell.
Let's-
I smell.
Yeah, I smell the feet.
I smell
I'm looking at
push-ups.
these- I'm looking at these now.
I smell
so
a
I'm
rigged
like, I don't
election.
know.
Is what I smell.
We can do it. We can do this.
Okay, so it's my turn here. I'll let you go. Let you keep track of the number of things we get. All right, Ashley. What are you asking me?
10 foods that are low in.
The glycemic.
Glycemic
Yes.
index.
Okay.
So
Yes.
again, these are slow acting carbohydrates. So the energy source kind of draws out a little bit longer.
Okay, so slow acting, and this is kind of what we want to kind of maintain our insulin and blood sugar levels, so we don't have spikes. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
All right.
Hit me with it. Let's do it.
All right. Number 1.
Hold on. Are you ready?
3, 2, 1.
Go.
An example of these would be almonds.
Nuts,
Yes. Pinto.
beans.
But what's a fancy word for those?
A fancy word for beans?
For beans.
Quinoa?
Nope.
I don't know.
Skip. Skip this one too. This is at an Italian restaurant. You put marinara sauce on it. What do you eat at an Italian restaurant all the time?
Pizza?
What else? Noodles.
Pasta.
Yes. Milk is a
Dairy.
yes. Chinese restaurant. You eat what with all your food?
Rice.
Yes. The number one thing for vitamin A was
It means
the food. It's
Sweet
orange.
potatoes.
Yes. What did I talk about eating breakfast? You eat
cereal.
Time.
That was so close because guess what? I counted 5. What'd you count, Ashley?
Did you get it?
I counted 5 there.
I saw his look on. I think we got him on legume.
That was legumes. Oh. If you would have told me cashews, I would have hit it right away. A cashew is a legume. I would have.
Oh, wow.
nailed
Okay.
that.
Oh,
feel like I'm
then I
getting,
wouldn't have
nut
even
count
known
for it.
that.
Yeah, it's
Oh my god.
yeah, it's in the same category.
So Trevor
They're related.
G's doing the push-up.
So
All
that
right, let's get started.
I smell push-ups. Hey, I'll count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Wow.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22. I don't think he's going down all the way. 5, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 6, 37, 38, 39, and he is done. Nice job. Good sport, Trev.
Let me just say that pace did not slow down once.
No, it
it
didn't.
didn't.
That's true. true.
That was a really fast.
impressive.
That was a really fast 40
That
push-ups.
was impressive.
And I was kidding about him not going down all the way. His nose was basically beating the floor.
He does have a little bit of a red nose.
Yes, and the veins.
That was pretty good.
In his arm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you're strong, Trevor. You're really strong.
Sweaty. I gotta go back out.
Gonna take a shower. Well, that was fun, guys. That was fun.
man.
And hopefully you guys learned a few things, guys, out there. If you have any questions about some other diet tips or stuff, let us know.
Cool.
Yes. Thanks so much for coming back and joining us.
Absolutely.
Guys,
We're
that
happy
was
to do it.
awesome.
Happy
Cool.
to do it.
Thanks.
I'm here with Aaron Greene with College Liftoff and wanted to talk about the stresses of walking into college decisions. And that's what College Liftoff is really all about, is to help you get from point A to point B, finding the right college for your student, and finding the right education path. But I want to let Aaron Greene, the founder of College Liftoff, talk a little bit more about what College Liftoff is.
Yeah, so thanks, Brett. We talk about before I get into the stresses, College Liftoff, what we do is we work with families on getting ready to go off to college, academically, financially. We like to look at college as what it is today. It's an investment. It's a huge one. In fact, our motto is name something you spend $80,000 to $200,000 on and we don't consult professionals. Here is higher education. This is what college has literally become. It's a lot like buying a house, actually. When you buy a house, you're buying two things. You buy property and you buy a mortgage. College is actually built the exact same way. You buy into the academics of a school, and then you buy into the financial aid package that goes along with it. You put it together to get the best value for education. So as an easy example, you wouldn't spend $270,000 on a house that's appraised $120,000. So you don't want to spend $90,000 on an education that only yields $30,000 a year. That doesn't make any sense. So we want to reverse that. We want to see how do we actually get and it can account for tangible educational value in this day and age when it costs the equivalent of a house to send a kid to school. So talking a little bit about the stressors of what this is doing for you guys, the parents out there. Let's throw it all on the table because we talk about this a lot and what are the things that are really stressing out parents in this day and age. One is the time that it takes to really go through this and the time it takes to be able to sift through and find the right schools for your students. But really, the time is really leading to the difference in the system. And what I mean by that is this is a different decision-making process that you went through when you went to college. With your student going to school, this is very different. One, again, going back to the cost structure, it didn't cost the equivalent of a house at that point when you went to school. The other side is, interestingly enough, seeing how the work world is put together because we don't live in an economy anymore where just a bachelor's degree coming out of school will yield you a good job. It's really about taking the time to understand what are the career fields that are really out there, or let me rephrase that, having your student do so, not you. Seeing this for really what it is and what their interests lie, mapping those two things together, the career fields and the work world, your students' interests, pairing them together and getting them to see what this really looks like. Because here's the thing about education, and especially a collegiate education, it's a tool. It's an actual tool to get you to the next level. Yes, you do grow, you do learn a lot more about yourself and all of those things, but it's built to get you to a career path. That's what it's meant for. So let's stop ignoring that part. Let's start actually making sure that we're doing the career development work, which is what we do all day long here with our kids. 60-70% of our time is spent career developing with our students, just so that we can make good decisions to find the schools that academically do the career fields that they're looking into best, to best position them into getting jobs and the better jobs once they walk out of school. So mapping all of that out is a total stressor because most parents can kind of see the parts and pieces, but it's very difficult to put them all together. And then you have a student, or let me rephrase that, you have a kid who looks at you and says, I'm a teenager, you don't know what you're talking about. So can't tell you how often we get calls that are just like, Aaron, come talk to my kid. Because no matter what I say, it's going to be wrong. It's going to be the wrong answer. So sometimes the third party can really help that and really break that that tension, break that ice down. In fact, we regularly sit down with our advisors and when before they're meeting with families and go over, there are 3 typical outcomes that are wanted for this college decision when we sit down with 2 parents and a student. One of them wants a great financial deal. One of them wants what's best for their kid, and one wants a good career path.
Yeah.
And so we have to be able to answer those 3 questions all at once. And it's very difficult for the 3 to just sit down and answer all of those for each other because, again, everybody wants something different. So here we are. We're arbiters of the deal when all 3 parts are just as equally important, and everybody's part in this is important. But it's very difficult to do that when it's just the 3 of you. But we can definitely help that.
Well, I can personally attest. We worked with you with our family too, and I think the big hurdle, and you did an excellent job with this, is to really the discovery of what does that student want to do. And we may have been lucky. Our daughter really did know what she wanted to do, but it's really refining that path. What does it mean? What is the definition of it? What is it really called? Where you have the other extremes, like, I don't know what I want to do. Well, we didn't have to go through that process of that total discovery of where your interests lie and such. So that made that stress point a lot easier. It really defining what is that degree called, and what universities to look for, what to look for in the website that is there or not there, quite frankly, that maybe saves you some time to going to that university for a stop going, wow, that was a total waste of time. Or, yeah, they've got some nuances there you might want to, and they're not really saying it out. You're right. It's a totally different world from a perspective of a parent of what's out there to how to investigate this.
Absolutely. And interestingly enough, it's the same process even with a student that says, I absolutely know what I want to do versus one, I don't know what I want to do at all.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Interestingly enough is because of the fact of this, even for the students that know what they want to do, not most students, almost every student know this about the work world. Doctor, teacher, lawyer, my parents do X. Mm-hmm. That's their extent of knowledge of the work world. And it doesn't matter if you have a 2.4 student or a 4.2 student, or it doesn't matter because their exposure or what they've seen is just not there. So you can have incredibly brilliant kids, and we have valedictorians all the time who walk through the store, but they just haven't seen what the work world looks like. Right. So you can't replace that with knowledge. You still have to be able to understand what that looks like. So to your point, Brett, even with working with your family and your daughter, it's really been just a discovery of what does this path really look like. Right. She had an idea of what's going on here, but let's open up the floodgates. Let's see, to your point, what is this thing called out there?
Yeah.
How are universities adapting this particular degree set? Because they all do it in their own unique way. You'll find that even though one degree may be called, as an example, graphic design is not the same to everybody. Mm-hmm. And it varies tremendously between visual communication design, 3-dimensional art, 2-dimensional art, or even more marketing media-based and advertising, or even digital and more web-based. And it just really depends on the school. So that's where it gets really interesting, because a student may say, I really like this, and they end up in a program that doesn't do it the way they envisioned it, and now they think that they're not built for that degree set, when the truth is they're just not built for that SKU. So that's why we want to see what those look like now while they're sophomores, juniors, and seniors in high school, to help us pick this better. And these were all the things that kind of, as you roll them out, especially getting into the finances of how can we afford this? How do we do all of these pieces? No wonder this is so stressful for a parent, because, mercy, you're still being a parent. You still have to take care of all of your kids, and you still have to work, and you still have to do everything else. That's why we really think that what we do, to be honest with you, is going to be commonplace in 10 years. We've really started this now, and I think that everybody needs help now, because it's such a complex decision-making process. It affects everybody in the family with this, and it takes a lot of time to really work it out. I always say, I could figure out how to change my own oil, or actually more equated to this decision-making process, I could figure out how to swap out my own transmission. I could do it. Do I have the time, energy, tools, and wherewithal to do all of that?
Right. Yeah. And I think the industry, as you talked about too, has changed dramatically. Colleges, universities have changed to suit those and be more specialized, possibly than just a general education, walking out with a 4-year degree, and you graduated from Ohio State, so you're guaranteed a job.
Yeah.
It's just not that way anymore.
Nope.
And again, it's that generational that anybody in their even 30s to 40s are going to realize that their kids have a totally different world they're walking into.
Absolutely. We use the example of degrees all the time that you could walk out of school and you were fine just so long as you had one. In fact, that's even why brand identity made sense for so long. That's why you're familiar with the names of Harvard, Dartmouth, Case Western, Ohio State, Penn State, because it was more about the pedigree 20, 30 years ago than the actual degree itself. We don't exist in that economy anymore. Now it's about the skill set. What are you bringing to market?
What are the 2 to 3 tips on how to approach this time? Looking at a sophomore to junior year, junior to senior, just highlight tips of how to reduce the stress right out the chute, knowing of all the things they're going to walk into. And they're already hearing it at school from the guidance counselors and career counselors and such, depending on the school systems. But they're giving them the heads up. They're giving them the emails. They're saying, hey, come to this workshop. We've got college visits going on. It's starting to bombard them now.
Yes, it is. You're starting to get a lot of information coming from left and right. And the only thing you know is for sure is that you got to get your kid into school. You've got to do that.
What are a couple of things to just ease your mind? Know that it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But start the process.
Here's tip number 1, and it's actually something not to do, because everyone will tell you have to go do or you feel obligated. Don't run out and just go do a college visit or a bunch of them. Don't do it, because you're taking off time from work. Your kid's taking off time from school. It's usually going to cost you a little bit because you may have to stay overnight, and you're just going to go visit that campus just to walk around and see it. Unless it's locally in your neighborhood and you can do it for an afternoon, that's not going to really cost you any time or money just to get a feel for a college campus. There's no reason to just go jump out into a bunch of campus visits and just go start visiting campuses if you don't know why you're visiting. And I can tell you, because the school looked great on paper, or because the mascot's cool, or my friends go here, or we went there, those are not really great decisions or reasons. And that's just more to save for your time than anything else. So don't feel obligated to run out and go do that. In fact, for our families, we don't even send them on visits until the back end of their junior year after we've already reviewed 12 to 15 schools anyway, because we want them to have that list narrowed down to 7, 8 at the most, and you're visiting 6 to 7. So that's really not where you want to start. You don't want to begin with just jumping out into college visits. But I know folks are anxious. They want to get started in this. I'll tell you, the first thing you can actually do, freshman year, sophomore year especially, start talking to them about what you do. What your job is. How does it really exist? What does it really work like? We kind of take our jobs for granted because we've been doing them for as long as we have. And we think that their transparency is because we see it so often that our kids know that. Our kids don't. You'll be surprised. Your kids really don't know what you do all day. You may have explained it, but they don't really have a vision for it. Interestingly enough, take your kids to work for a couple of days. And if they have an interest in a particular career field, set up a shadowing opportunity. That's really what you want to do early, because then you can start to get their wheels turning down the path of really understanding what they want to do. And again, for those families that their student is saying, I really want to do this, challenge them on that, and not challenge them and say that, do you really want to do this? Give them exposure to it. Make sure that they can see what this actually is doing, because they may have a vision of it from a TV show, to be honest, or something along that lines, but they really don't know how the inner workings of that job may work. Because in the end, this becomes real easy if you can really hone down and do great career development work. Because here's how you craft an education. You talk to the source. If you want to be a forensic scientist for the police department, as an example, you're not going to do what you see on CSI. So you want the student to really go and actually see what's really happening here. And let's say that all works out and they really like it and all that. You know, the next step to craft that education, to see what that kid needs to go to school for, is ask the people that work in that department what they did. Where did they go to school? What degrees do they have? What skill sets do they want to see in recent college graduates? And bada bing, there we go. Now we've actually got a formula, because then we can go and just actually start sifting through and find schools that do those particular things well and take the recommendations there. Now we have a plan. Now we actually have a starting point that makes sense versus just kind of throwing things out there. So that's how you want to begin, interestingly enough. Freshman, sophomore year, take your kids to work. Take them to see somebody that is doing something that they want to do. Let them have a day off of school to go do that. That's the most important thing you do, because mercy, you can get a lot of questions answered from that experience, and maybe even a couple more. That really is a good starting point. The second biggest piece is from the financial side. Saving is always a plus. We always say save as much as you can. I'm here to tell you, though, there is no reason on this good God green earth that you should be setting aside $250,000 or even $100,000 to me, to be honest, to send one kid to school. In my opinion, and what we work off of here, is you should be setting aside roughly an average starting salary for a college graduate of that year, and you should take that and splice it basically into 4 years. And that's how much you should be investing in education for your student. So really, in the end, we boil this down to, and when we do this here at College Liftoff, how much should the student be taking on in debt, and how much should the students or the family be paying out of pocket based off of the career path. So if we really work backwards from the career path, we know exactly how much the family should be spending. But let's say in 5 years, the average college graduate makes on average $42,000 a year, $44,000 a year, make that easy. So that way, if it's $44,000 a year, starting salary, you should pretty much have $44,000 set aside for that kid to go to school. Put about $11,000 toward it a year. Now, you may be looking at price tags and say, that's absolutely ludicrous. Price tags are $60,000, $70,000 a year. Well, I'm going to ask you this. Do you really expect to spend $60,000 or $70,000 a year to send your kid to school? Do you really expect to do that? Do you want to do that? Is that even feasible? Probably not. Don't worry, it's not feasible for any of us. Set aside that much, then you work your way into actually negotiating with schools and looking at the price tags and seeing how much scholarship money you can get. That's how you want to start with it. Set aside an average starting salary. That's where you want to begin with the finances. The third thing I would tell you is, honestly, call us. Because once you have those two things put together, then it's really pretty good. You're at a great starting point. Because now we can start to see what the career development side looks like. You have the appropriate amount of money. Then we just find the schools that do it well. We actually study the financials heavily on the back end, from endowment structures to how much the school actually have and how much they're actually giving per student. And then we negotiate with the schools anyway with you to make sure we can lower on the budget. And that's how you want to get to this.
If you like what Aaron's been talking about, his philosophy, what College Liftoff does, I would encourage you to subscribe today to his podcast. I want to let Aaron talk about a little bit what you try to get accomplished with your podcast.
Sure. Our podcast, it's as if you go on our website and read through our blogs and look at some of our infographics on Pinterest and things like that. We're at a point where we just want to get out information, because this whole college thing, actually we call it the economy of education, is so misunderstood. And it's not even misunderstood in the natural sense of like wrong information. It's just not really been broken apart before. No one's really actually analyzed and really asked the question, what am I buying here? So in the podcast, that's what we're trying to answer for people, is how can we tangibly look at this and make good sense out of what's happening in the world of college?
And that podcast is Affording College with Aaron Greene. Thanks for talking with us.
Oh, thank you.
I'm always impressed with the articles that Central Ohio Health and Wellness Magazine publishes, Ashley. I'm glad we get to partner together with our Today's Health web pages, found on theblitz.com, 1039jackfm.com, and WMNI.com, to help you spread the word.
Thanks, Brett. I appreciate that. We work really hard to get these together every month. And here's a few things that you can find in the February issue that I'll highlight. February is American Heart Month. So we have 2 great articles centered around that. One titled The Heart Truth. It's from Licking Memorial Hospital. And it tells us the risk factors of heart disease, such as smoking, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, obesity, all the ones that we typically think of, lack of physical activity, diabetes. Those are some of the biggest. So that's a great informative article. In addition to that, Hospice of Central Ohio also has given us some health facts for this issue around it being American Heart Month. And another interesting thing we have, since we're all looking forward to spring with this weather changing on us again, the Guansell Group from Licking County has given us 5 ways sellers can prepare to get their house ready for the spring selling market. So that's a good one for anyone out there who's looking or thinking about listing their home coming up. Another fun article from Sleep Outfitters. Have you ever wondered why yawns are contagious? So when you yawn, the person next to you yawns.
All the time.
Yes.
All the time.
Every time.
Yeah.
So if you are curious, Sleep Outfitters will tell you all about that this month in the February issue. Another one I liked, still keeping on the New Year's resolutions, 5 physical benefits of cycling, indoor cycling.
Oh, yeah.
And I know Elite One, they just started a great new rave cycling class. So they make it really fun with the music and lights.
Oh, yeah. The laser lights
love it.
off. Yep.
That's cool.
It's the atmosphere.
Nice, fun.
So those are some of the highlights of February. Of course, there's a lot more great content. So pick up a copy or go online at ohiohealthandwellness.com to read those and more. And always, each month, there's always a healthy recipe. This month is a great healthy dinner, Valentine's meal for 2 to go along with the February theme of Valentine's Day. So check it out.
February is National Pet Dental Health Month. Do you brush your dog or cat's teeth? I know we don't. That's recommended on a daily basis if possible. That isn't going to happen on a daily basis. I know we got some flavored toothpaste, though, that the dog likes, but you've got about 30 seconds. It's done.
Yes.
And I can't imagine when we had a cat to do a cat. I mean, their teeth.
I cannot
razor.
either.
Razor. You know, they don't like their mouth messed with,
Right.
even compared to a dog. So,
I don't blame them.
yeah. Oh, I don't either. I know. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
would you like somebody else brushing your teeth?
No. Well, plaque and tartar build up in your pet's mouth just as it does ours. The brushing helps combat periodontal disease and bad breath with regular brushing. Flavored pet safe toothpaste can help make the experience a positive one, which I agree. It does help with us, but we just don't get to it enough. Or you can schedule routine dental cleanings with your vet as well. We put a link in our podcast notes to a YouTube video from the American Veterinarian Medical Association. Dr. Sheldon Rubin gives some easy step-by-step instructions on how to teach a dog or cat to accept a daily toothbrushing. So hopefully that helps.
You know how? I wonder if they brush the dog's tongue kind of like they do. Humans brush your tongue as well. For breath.
I don't know. That's a good question because that's. I'm sure.
I wish I could find out something to do for
For the dog's breath.
Yeah.
Because I can
they're
imagine.
always-
especially the little ones.
I don't know. You can get some water additive too, some flavoring, and that does help our dog a little bit.
Okay.
And
I've used that before you put it
and
in
it
the water
does
bowl.
help.
Mhm.
Yeah, now maybe
They
it depends
also
on
do
the
the spray.
The spray
like
in
a
the mouth?
spray now.
I haven't
Like
tried
thumbs
that,
up.
but I know the additive to the water does a pretty good job too to at least help his breath. But I think a lot of it comes down to what you feed your dog and cat.
Yeah, probably.
If it's a dry food versus wet food, the wet food seems to really
Build up a little
Stings.
bit.
It's a little brutal, yeah.
yeah versus the dry.
And you know your pets, they just can't get close enough to your face. So
Oh, yeah. Hey, other February Health Month items to keep in mind. American Heart Health Month is this month. Boost Your Self-Esteem Month, which I think is fantastic. We all have those moments that we just don't like ourselves.
Amen.
Just get around people that, I think a lot of it is, get around people that enjoy being around you.
Yep. Confidence is quality of life.
Yeah, it
Positive
is.
people lead to a positive environment.
Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
think so too. Children's Dental Health Month, National Macadamia Nut Month. like that. National Snack Food Month, which with us in the room, it's got to be the healthy food snacks, right?
Oh,
Yeah, kale.
Absolutely, yes.
Kale.
Kale snacks.
Kale.
Yum.
I'm the only one who likes kale.
Kale chips.
Yes, Ashley, you may be.
Might be.
Gosh.
Possibly. Potato Lovers Month is this month. Sleep Safety Month. And this is more to improve the safety in the bedroom, especially for children,
Okay.
which is always those first-time parents of really watching what you're doing in the bedroom and how the kids are sleeping, what's attached to the wall and such. You see those horror videos and horror stories of dressers falling on kids and such like that when they're playing in their bedroom. So, kind of take a look around the bedroom if you have some young ones, especially under 2-3 years old. Make sure that their room is safe. So just a nice reminder of that. On February 7th is National Hangover Awareness Day. This is kind of an old one because it celebrates the day after Babe Ruth's birthday, who was noted for his hangovers. So anybody in that generation kind of knowing a little bit more about Babe Ruth would know that, he was... He was a character on the field, let's put it that way.
Yeah, they say that Barry Bonds did it with steroids and Babe Ruth did it with beer and hot dogs.
Yeah, there you go. Tied in with that, Alka-Seltzer was introduced this month as well to the general public back in 1931. So hangovers and Alka-Seltzer
They
kind of
kinda go together,
Yeah,
right?
they do. And to wrap it up, pun intended, around Valentine's Day, it's National Condom Week, week of the 14th. Wonder why that's there.
With National Condom Week.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. So
Safety first.
There you go. Thanks again for listening to this month's Today's Health and Wellness podcast, brought to you by Central Ohio Health and Wellness Magazine and today's health web pages on theblitz.com, 1039jackfm.com, and WMNI.com. Contact us if you have a health and wellness segment you would like us to cover, and sponsors, our contact information is in the podcast notes. We look forward to hearing from you.
Circle 270 Media Podcast Network.